We're pleased to be joined by Victor Scott of the St. Louis Cardinals. How are you? Good to have you here.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm doing so well.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You lead the Cardinals with 7 stolen bases.
Yes.
You got 7 stolen bases through the first 19 games, the most by a Cardinal since Ray Langford did it in 1992. One of the teams that I used to like growing up in the 80s, watching in the 80s, was the St. Louis Cardinals because of all the speed. I'm sure you've heard about it. Yeah. Coleman, Willie McGee, Ozzie Smith, all stealing bases. What does speed do for you on the diamond?
Yeah, I mean, speed is just a way to impact the game on multiple assets, multiple facets. I mean, you can bunt to get on, you can steal bases, put yourself in scoring position. I feel like it's just a really great way to help score runs.
You've got 4 bunt hits.
Yeah, we're going to I want them to teach.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do.
And not only, I've been saying it, you're not just looking for hits on the field, you're looking for hits on iTunes, on Spotify, in music. You go by the name Argo.
Right.
Your latest album is Not Your Average Rapper.
Right.
We played a cut off of the album as you were coming into the studio. Tell me how, you're from the Atlanta area, so music is a thriving part of that community and culture.
Right.
How did you get into it?
It was just something that I kind of just picked up with friends, just freestyling, having fun, and then somebody once told me, like, hey, you know, you're pretty good. And I was like, all right, took it and ran with it. So I was like,
we see some shots of you in the studio. This is from yesterday.
Yeah, that's from yesterday, yeah.
Where was this? Where's the studio?
This was at Quad Studios, like downtown New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, the stage name Argo, how did you come up with that?
So Argo, funny story how I got it. One of my best friend's producers, or my best friend's brother is a producer. And he said, hey man, you need a name so I can type in something. So I said, let's go with Lawless. And he was like, dude, none of the music you make is lawless. So I was like, all right, let me brainstorm. Was passing by the bank, Wells Fargo. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna take the F out of Fargo and make it Argo and see how it works.
That's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
That's how it goes. Now he's cooking.
Well, listen, you're in good hands with Dero. He's gonna chat hitting with you. Dero, take it away.
All right, 2 years ago, I go down to Jupiter. I'm going to call a breakout series game with all the prospects, and you're the name that keeps coming up. I've lived in Georgia for 25 years. I know you're a Georgia native, went to high school there, the hotbed. I want to dive in on what you do. First, I want to get into your nice start, hitting close to 270, a bomb, but you had a monster spring. Let's get into it. Then we're going to teach the kids at home how to bunt.
Okay.
And then the top third last night, you and Luis Torrens had a moment. So we just get a little rip right here. I'm going to eventually get into a Skeens AB and your homer in Minnesota, working the ball up the middle the other way, staying inside on a lefty. But I want to flash back to spring training.
Okay.
You absolutely raked in spring. 360, 370, but it was the power chord. Did you come into spring saying, I got to get the ball in the air more, I got to show more pop? Because that's not what I would think how you add value to this team.
Yeah.
So what were you doing in spring where you were just, pause this?
It was just something that me and hitting coach Brant Brown went through, and we just talked about how to necessarily like move the body and how my body worked, and then that ended up in power numbers. So it kind of surprised me in a little bit because I didn't know I could necessarily impact the ball that way.
Yeah.
But I mean, as spring training's going through and we're starting to talk about like approaches and refine those things, it started to kind of play in those power numbers. So it was definitely unique and awesome.
All right, we're going to get a side angle. I want you to go deeper on that. Okay. All right, Skeens AB the other day. Take me through it. You coming off the heater at any point? You on the heater nonstop? I mean, that's a nasty split right there at 94. Yeah. You swing through a heater, pause this. You're on gas.
Yeah, you got to be on Skeens' heater. I mean, throws 98 to 102, so you got to be on that fastball up, and it has some really good movement. So I'm definitely on his best pitch there. With the splitter or splinker, try to leave that if it's out of the zone, but it's also a really good pitch. But I'm definitely on fastball out over.
Are you trying to shorten your swing, stay on top? You thinking any of those thoughts?
Definitely a shorter swing with guys that have a lot of movement. So definitely shorter on top, just trying to shorten these movements so I can get this bat on the ball.
And tell people around the world when you hit this ball how good it feels in the top of the third when you're hitting a triple, run this, boom.
Yeah,
as soon as that catches a gap, you're like, this is 3.
Yeah. As soon as it catches a gap, this is 3. Time to get on that scoreboard and be able to score some runs right there.
I mean, you're just low flying. It's easy.
Yeah. This is cruise control. This is cruise control.
All right, let's go through your 1 homer this year.
All right.
This ball's absolutely destroyed. Just a little middle cut heater, 4-seamer, 0-0, bit ready to be aggressive. Pause. All right, this is where I want you to cook.
Okay.
So you talked about Brant Brown. Your offense, I don't think people realize your offense is rolling.
Yeah.
1 through 9, I mean, you guys are passing the baton, scoring a ton of runs, hitting the baseball, especially with runners in scoring position. So have you always been a narrow base guy?
No, I haven't. Last year I was in a no stride.
Wide open.
Yeah, just wide, just no stride. And was kind of eliminating some of my athleticism.
Yep.
So I couldn't necessarily use it in the ways that I wanted to. But here, kind of working in the offseason, studying the game more, talking with Brant Brown, just understanding that I'm really athletic and how to use that in a swing. So this is kind of where we started to cook, I guess.
Yeah. So run this till foot contact.
Okay.
So simple move. You're not doing pause. So what are you thinking?
Right.
From an athletic standpoint, are you thinking inside of my back knee, back hip? You thinking hands?
I'm right here. I'm just thinking into the ground and then being
thinking
able to
lower half?
Yeah, thinking lower half, and then the ability to accept the ground with the front side. That's going to
Accept the ground.
Accept the ground with the front side. That's going to allow me to transfer energy through the ball
I like that.
most efficiently. Yeah.
I haven't heard that. Do you worry about your hands?
Not necessarily. My hand position has always kind of been there.
That's a nice swing, man.
So don't necessarily have to worry about where my hands are or anything like that. Just making sure that my body's in a good position to execute a swing.
What do you do pregame? Are you a tee guy?
Yeah. Tee guy, definitely. I start with knob hits.
What?
Yeah. So if I put the tee closer to me, and I just start with hitting the knob.
You hit the ball with the knob.
Yeah, Tony
That's
Gwynn.
what Soto used to do.
Yeah, so I saw Soto do it, and then Tony Gwynn said he leads with the knob. So that's kind of something that I studied this offseason and implemented into my routine.
What's crazy is I hear you say that. We talk about this all the time, feel versus real or different terminology. For me, when someone said take the knob to the ball, I got real cutty.
Yeah.
If I thought take my bottom hand to the ball, for whatever reason, that leveled me out. So for you, it's knob.
Yeah. For me, it's knob, and then also, as you just said, I mean, once you're getting through contact, you have to extend.
Extend through. All right, you do something. I hate old school, new school. It's just good baseball.
Right.
You can bump for some knocks.
Right.
I read an article, you talked about Rod Carew. You talked about. So take me through, teach kids at home. What's the proper way? I'm so tired of seeing coaches try and teach hitting that don't know what they're talking about. What are we trying to accomplish? Because I talk about it and I was giving myself up. I mean, I was almost presenting this back foot and I was trying to catch the ball.
Right. I mean, that's a good cue. Catching the ball is a great cue. My first cue, I tell myself, is just to get the bunt down. Get the bunt down with good angle and then run first. I feel like a lot of times hitters or young, old, doesn't matter, but we tend to leave our eyes as soon as we start to get up the line.
Yeah.
And we don't necessarily get the bunt down first. So that's kind of like the first thing I tell myself, get this bunt down and then we can run.
And how far back does that third baseman have to be for where you're like, are you always looking at it?
Yeah, I mean, it's always, definitely always have to look at it. It's a part of my game, so I got to be able to execute it when the situation comes.
Okay. Keep me going right here. I want to get to this stolen base in the top of the third. I'm sitting in my apartment yesterday watching, and I'm like, I knew you were going to go. Torrens is having a great start to the year. He's got an absolute cannon behind home plate. This is just, by the way, I thought this ball was foul.
Hey,
Watch this. Let it roll. I mean, we got a foul ball right there now. They gave you a knock.
They gave it to me.
And you studied some of the game's greats, huh?
Yes. Brett Butler, Rob Carew, Ichiro. It's a ton of great bunters in the game.
Pause this. All right, so you know you're going. You have. I wasn't a base stealer. It was at no part. I never had a first base coach go, hey, he's 1-6 to the. Like, I wasn't in my game. So they're telling you get on first base. Is Griffin Canning a guy who gets the home plate quick?
Yeah, he does. Last night he was in the 1-2s range, but I had a tail on him.
Okay, you got a tail on him. Watch how clean the Mets catcher gets rid of this, and he's still safe. Boom, boom. Perfect throw, perfect tag by Lindor. I thought he was out, and you're sitting there I go, he's safe. Because you would have come off the bag if you knew you were out.
Yeah.
And you're standing right there looking in at Ollie Marmol like you're challenging this, right? Mm-hmm. Did Lindor say anything to you after that?
No, he didn't say anything.
I mean, you had to know this, right? Sprint speed leaders,
Yeah.
Bobby Witt, Bucks, you,
These
Pete
guys
Crow.
are moving. These guys are moving.
These are game changers.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
It's fun to watch, man. It's happening for you. You can see it, you know? Coming up, get a chance to play every day, impact the game on a big-time level, pop, bunts, all of it. D. Now you got to take on Warren.
Hey, by the way, D-Row, they told me you had 23 stolen bases across 16 big league seasons. There you go.
That's 2 a year, maybe.
There you go.
Light.
There you go. Hey, Victor, you're not done with us.
Brandon, good morning to you. Thanks so much for joining us fresh off your 5-year extension. Congratulations to you. What was it about this team that made you want to stay long term?
You know, ever since I got drafted in 2020, everybody's been great. This whole, from the front office down to clubhouse guys, I've loved every part of it, and I'm excited to keep that going.
It really is like that. There.
You excelled in the postseason. I always think, like, you could be as confident as you want, but until you do it in a big moment, you kind of always have a little doubt. Can you talk about having the success in the postseason, that kind of, starting the train of just you being a dominant starter and then kind of ending with the 5-year extension?
Yeah, when you look back at the debut year and
Yeah.
in the postseason all in 1 year, I think there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to grow from, and taking all those experiences and putting them into play and trusting the process and going out there and just pitching my game, with all that experience in the playoffs and taking that out there and onto the field.
Let me ask you, you guys got an unbelievable starting rotation. Is there one guy for you that you pick the brain of more than, say, the others, or is it a collective effort?
I would say collective effort.
Really?
We have a lot of guys to look up to, and especially if you add a guy like Corbin Burns to that, I think there's a lot to learn, especially with Gallen and Merrill over the past 3 years and adding Erod to that. So kind of picking the brain of all 4 of them and going out there and improving my game as well.
Brandon, Dero talked about the postseason. I had a conversation with you, Diamondbacks Dodgers, in that 3-game set after you pitched a gem. It was in the dugout, and I remember saying, you look so calm. And I remember your answer was, I really don't have any other reference. This is my first year in the bigs. To what he's saying, doing that in your first year, does that kind of set the tone for you?
Yeah, probably deep down inside, I'm probably freaking out.
Sure.
But on the outside, I'm showing that I'm staying calm, and I think I've always been like that. I've been raised like that and taught by plenty of coaches that I've had throughout growing up, and I think using that to my advantage. And there's still a flame inside with some adrenaline going, but so don't let that fool you.
Brandon, earlier this week we had a segment where we wanted to mention players that deserve more praise, more headlines, if you will, and Geraldo Perdomo was on that list. I wonder if you could speak to what it's like having him play behind you and what he's meant to your lineup.
Yeah, I came up in the minors a little bit with Perdomo, and he's a great team leader. He's a great shortstop and even better person. So having him on and off the field in the clubhouse at short, it goes a long way, and I couldn't be happier for him as well.
How does his leadership manifest itself? Because you just said he's a young guy as well.
He's very talkative. He cares about everybody. He respects everybody, whether that be coaching staff, players, everybody around him, and I think that goes a long way, and it shows out on the field.
Dero coaches the youth, and he always talks about, we have Victor Scott coming on the program,
Yeah.
He's in studio in just a bit, how every hitter does it differently. If you were to give advice to a young pitcher out there, what would be the number one thing you would tell them?
It sounds cliche, but go out there and have fun. Baseball, you can get caught up in the moment and get stressed out, get down on yourself, but going out there and having fun, it's at the end of the day, it's a game, and you're not going to pitch your best unless you're having fun.
I wish I knew that.
Were you always a guy that can move the ball around? I feel like when I watch you, there's certain guys around the league, you can't pick up what a 4-seam heater is. Your ball seems to have a little sink, a little cut. Has it always been that way, or is that something you were taught in the minors?
I think I developed it pretty late.
Really?
I went to a small college, Division II college, and I think from there on, I kind of started developing pitches. I didn't really start throwing the sinker until I got optioned my first year. I had to find something new, and started throwing that, and that movement came along with the 4-seam and slider that I already had. So I think over time that I developed those pitches, and I'm certainly looking forward to keeping those moving even more and developing those as well.
Brandon, now is not the time for scoreboard watching. That will come later in the summer into September. But just as a whole, the National League West, what do you make of this division so far and the quality of teams that are in it right now?
Yeah, I think from the offseason we knew it was going to be a tight race, and we're glad to be a part of it and one of those teams, one of those 4 teams, and we'll see where it turns out at the end of the season. But it's gonna be fun to watch, and certainly fun when we start playing each other.
Did we have a nice dinner set up for tonight with the boys?
Not yet, but we'll certainly talk about it
right.
here soon.
What are you having for breakfast?
I just had breakfast. I had eggs, bacon, and actually had a pancake today, so I was a little dirty.
Scrambled?
Yeah, scrambled
There
eggs.
you go, Brandon.
Coffee guy?
I am. I haven't had that yet, so I'm still waking up.
Okay.
Have you made the first big purchase or anything with the extension, or is that still under
No,
consideration?
not yet.
No Ferrari yet? Get
Okay.
a Ferrari.
No
Come on,
Ferrari.
one time, Brandon. One time. All right.
For the boys.
Yeah, let us know what big purchase.
Text you.
All right,
be sure
we'll
to
do.
text us.
We'll do.
All right. Hey, but seriously, when that first big one hits the direct deposit in the banking app, you looked at it multiple times, right? You got to be like, holy moly.
It hasn't kicked in yet, so it starts
All right.
next year. So
All right.
I'll talk to you next year.
There
about
you
it.
go. Hey, Brandon, thanks for joining us, man. Congratulations on your start and the Diamondbacks. They're a great team to watch, and good luck
Yeah.
today and the rest of the way.
Awesome. Thank you all.
Bye, Brandon.